Hello, everyone. Welcome to session number 3 of the Mutant Epoch, favored Remnant. Skank and Spitz here as your storyteller, your GM, your DM, whatever you want to call it. And I got my fellow players here, and it's been 2 weeks, so without any further ado, let's get this started. Um, would one of you like to do a recap? The 90-second recap, as it were?
I would if I could remember what happened.
Well, that's all right. I can do a recap. I usually write stuff down, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Not a lot happened. Actually, not a ton, other than a lot of role playing happened in our last session anyway. So in our first group, which is Edward, Peabody, and Reginald, we met our tank driver, who
Murdoch.
Murdoch, yep. And well, he's seems to be a bit of a drunk and a wastrel, but so are all are we. We also met up with Charlene, who is a formerly employed by Horace the innkeeper. She's coming with us. And also met Bartholomew, who's the head of the city watch, and he gave us our supplies. So we just head out in our tank. Everything was going well for a couple days, and then we saw riders coming towards us, and that was the last thing that we saw. We saw riders coming towards our tank. Next, we have our second group, which is Ebony, Billy Buck, and Lou. And we got to know a lot of people better in this group. We heard a bit of Donovan, who is our sort of our guide, our hunter guide. And we heard about his backstory of being a clone. And we also now have someone we can actually identify as a sort of leader of the turtle people, or at least the person we talk with, and that's Sparky, as I called her. We made a decision to go the short way, but possibly the more dangerous way, going towards the lair of some unknown beast. In that group, we took the shorter path. So that's pretty much the summary of what happened last time.
Yep, that's pretty much it. So let's just pick up where we left off last time. Well, actually, right about where I wanted us to leave off, but close enough. We're having some technical issues, but yes, indeed, our desert troop, our desert faring troop in their tank has came across a small, well, I don't know if I'd call it a cavalry of sorts, but you've come across a group of men, about a dozen. It was 10, actually. There's 10 of them. For anyone who does care to count, and each of them is on a horse. All of the horses appear to be a brown or a dark color, and there doesn't really seem to be a rhyme or a reason as far as any things racial or class structure or anything goes. As you see these figures upon the horizon, and like I said, you're in sort of a desert with rolling hills. So for better or worse, probably worse more often than not, you don't really realize things or people until you're right up on them, unless it was some sort of a monolith or something that would be standing up. So by the time that I say the horizon, but the horizon of which I speak isn't very far at all. But as you see these figures coming up on the horizon, they do, as you can imagine, bear quite an imposing look about them. Most of them are wearing armor of some sort or another. Some of them are wearing leather armor. Some of them are wearing a sort of junk armor, as it were, armor pieced together from bits and bobs, different metal doodads that were probably never meant to be armor in the first place, making with it what they can. They definitely have a ragtag look about them. Each of them, of course, is covered in dust as they come up, and they seem to be a pretty good mix of races. Like I said, about half of them, give or take, have a cybernetic enhancement or two that's apparent, but not all of them. Um, a good amount of them are mutants, but again, not all of them. And there is one in particular who the rest of them sort of, there's not any formal way that they ride or that they go about things, but all of them are in a line, a sort of semicircle more or less, and then one in particular sort of slowly has his horse walk forward. And he was the one which I was trying to describe, much to my chagrin, last time. Yes, he appears to be a normal human, well, as normal as any human wandering a post-apocalyptic wasteland can be. He's got a pretty good-sized build, probably a little over 6 foot. Fairly muscular, fairly sinewy, a pretty thick guy. He has long black hair that, well, it's not thinning hair, but it is sort of more of a thin hair. It's mostly straight, and it's just sort of draped across his face like a veil of death. And he's got, in fact, the least armor of all of them. He's wearing sort of leather pants, chaps, almost, and he's wearing a vest of sorts, but he's got no shirt on, so he's got much of his flesh exposed. He's got a wide face with sort of Asian features, and he's got sort of a islander sort of a color of skin, a little bit darker. He's what you might imagine Attila the Hun to look like. To be quite honest, at any rate, he approaches your tank slowly on top of his horse. You can't really see much of his expression from the hair hanging down in his face. And I assume, I don't know if all you guys are still inside the tank. You can go ahead. Tell me what you're doing and how you respond.
Well, being on watch, standing in the turret, Edward, as he saw the riders coming over the sand dunes, he knocks on the tank, getting everyone's attention. Guys, we got trouble. We got about 10 riders. Looks like a mixed race. They look armed.
Cyborgs?
I'm sure I see at least one. Is our tank moving, or are we stopped?
He has stopped the tank by this point.
Okay. Yeah, I basically climb out to allow the others, to get a view or climb out if they so choose. So I my bow and I await the imposing figure of this leader to approach. Anyone get out here, guys?
Is there room enough for us to get out together?
Well,
Yes.
I get out of the way so you can climb out.
You'll have to do it one by one.
Yeah.
Yes. You can't come out like the right stuff here. Or Reservoir Dogs.
I will cautiously come and join
Reservoir
you
Dogs.
at the top, putting on my award-winning smile.
So, what's my character's name again?
You're Peabody right now.
That's right. Peabody. So Peabody sticks his head tentatively. Yeah.
And you're hungover, right?
I can't remember. Was that the day before, or was that right now?
It was about 2 days.
That was
probably recovered.
It was the day before.
Okay. So he sticks his head tentatively out of the hatch. He doesn't come all the way out. He's just kind of watching.
I'm gonna since Charlene, the girl with us, is probably not armed. I'm just gonna motion for her to stay like inside the tank for now. Just stay put for a second. Clamber out.
Yes. Inside the tank, Murdoch doesn't say anything, but opens up a new flask and takes a big swig of it.
Yeah.
So the man with the long black hair approaches closer yet until he can get within speaking distance without raising his voice too loud. Well, this is quite an interesting sight. I must say, it's not every day that you come across a piece of weaponry such as this, just out and about.
Do you have any business with us, or because otherwise I'd suggest you go on your way. You're pretty well armed.
Well, perhaps I have business with you. What is your business? This area is ours. We go where we please. I've never seen you before.
Yes, well, we come from the town of city of Shamrock. We are looking for supplies from a city out here called Gearshift. Perhaps you've heard of it. We're looking for it.
It's funny you say that. Me and my crew here were just headed back from there. As a matter of fact, it's about a 2 days ride from here. Assuming that this thing is operational. He's not even quite sure what to call it. As he sort of looks at it curiously.
Fully operational. The thing is fully operational.
Yes. Well, we appreciate. In what direction would you say you've come from Gearshift then?
What direction indeed? That's the thing about the desert, isn't it? If you're not careful, you'll end up walking in circles, or, well, driving or riding in circles, perhaps. More people die from starvation and dehydration, deprivation out here than they die by any blades or bullets or teeth. It is easy to find your way, it is easy to lose your way, even within a short distance.
You seem to be doing okay.
I've spent most of my life out here, roaming. If there's any skill that I have, well, few skills that I have, one of them would be navigating the desert. Yes, I could, I suppose, help you reach this place. It is a bit out of our way.
Perhaps we could propose a trade then. We do have items that you may find of worth.
Yes, well, if ever I can trade for something without killing someone to take it, well, then that is better for everyone involved, I think.
Yes.
So
Much better.
that sounds fair enough.
Okay. Well,
I must
what you're looking for.
I must ask though, you understand, for the safety of my men and I must know who you have aboard. How many people and in what capacity. You understand, you can see all that we have here. I mean, I have more friends, more people loyal to me out here, but this is our group as it is now. But I don't know what you have in there.
Yes. Well, we are traveling. We are pretty people, simple citizens of the area of Shamrock ourselves. No real soldiers, but we do know how to defend ourselves. We have, I kind of point out everyone and introduce them in turn. I am Edward. Over here we have Reginald, and over in the tank you can see that's Peabody sticking his head up there. And inside we have our loyal.
It looks like he's sick.
He's not feeling.
Cyborg.
Yes. Well, he had a bit too much to drink the other night, but we also have Charlene, who is coming with us as a help, and we have Murdoch, who is our loyal tank driver. Other than that, our entire.
Do you have any artificial humans on board there?
Artificial?
I would recommend that you use honesty here. I understand this may be a sensitive thing and a strange question for a stranger to ask, but
I do.
Well, I have to say it is of the utmost import.
I look at Edward as if to say, is Charlene and Murdoch artificial? Is there a way to tell?
I give you a confused look. I say, what is artificial? Do you mean Peabody? Peabody is a robot. I mean, a cyborg. Is that what you mean?
No, those are fine. I mean well, perhaps you don't know if you haven't heard of it before, but there are some people who are born not in a mother. People who aren't people at all, really, but machines created by machines. Posing as people. This is what I am inquiring about.
Fascinating.
Mutants, cyborgs, the bestial folk. I could care less for politics, really. Everyone judges everyone, but we don't have any room for that sort of thing out here.
Do you not trust these?
I believe they're known as bioreplicas to some.
I cannot say. We do have a new. The other two we have with us. Murdoch is a mutant, much like myself and Reginald here. I cannot vouch for Charlene. She is a new companion of ours. I would not even know how you would go about detecting this artificiality, as you say.
Let me have a look at her.
Peabody, would you mind getting
Yes,
out here?
I'll get her. So he goes down, and where is she in the tank?
She's sort of set up shop at the back of the tank, where there's sort of a little room or a little area that wasn't previously really being used. Didn't have a lot of stuff there. She has set up there, and it has set up her cooking supplies and whatnot.
Okay.
So she's at the back of them.
So Peabody, I just kind of like unceremoniously, march to the back of the tank. I don't say a word to her. I just grab her by her shirt and just start dragging her.
I turn to Edward as well. While we're up the top, I hope he doesn't cut her in half.
There's an easy way to discover if she's real or not.
Cut her in half and see if she has wires in the middle.
Are these
It's like the post-apocalyptic version of finding out if someone's a witch, drowning them. If they live, they're a witch. If they died, they were good. It's like the
exactly
analogous to that.
Yeah. So
are these bioreplicas dangerous?
some of them can be extremely dangerous. Yes, it is on an individual basis, really. Each of them was designed for a specific purpose, and, well, not everyone chooses to do that purpose. However, they certainly are created with the necessary skills to do them.
Are they dangerous?
Yes, well, they can be. He seems to stop himself. He was about to divulge something to you, and he sort of caught himself. They can be, yes. It's about that point that Peabody has shoved Charlene up to the top. What the hell are you doing? She's sort of in the little, standing next to where Edward is, sort of in the little turret thing, to where she can see out, and she stops talking and sort of stares wide-eyed, with her jaw dropped, sort of a look of wonder and amazement in her eye, not unlike a child when they first experience something.
I apologize, Charlene. We have a bit of a question for you. These fine gentlemen that we are proposing to do a trade with, they speak of something called bioreplicas, and they want to know if there are any of them amongst us. I have to ask for your honesty here. Are you such an artificial being? Are you a bioreplica? I know we have just met. I'm sorry if this is a sensitive question, but we must find our way out of this desert.
The bioreplic what?
That is what he said.
I mean, I've never heard of that, so I mean, I guess I could be, theoretically. After she came out, he sort of squinted his eyes and looked at her for a moment, and then as you were talking to her, he sort of opens a sack upon his horse and pulls out what appears to be an electronic tablet of some sort, strangely enough, and he kind of fiddles around with it a bit.
I kind of raise my weapon a little bit. I'm like, put that thing away. Is that a weapon you have there?
This stores information. Which, yes, that could be a weapon. Indeed. Information could be the most valued of all weapons, one could say, but no, it's nothing you need to worry about. He puts it away, although he doesn't put it away when you tell him to. He finishes, of course, doing what he's doing. Yes, well, she's fine, and of course she doesn't really know.
Thank you, Charlotte.
What's going on?
I'm not so convinced, Peabody says, and he fires up his disc saw.
Oh, shut up! She hits Peabody on the head with a little cauldron.
He goes flying.
down the stairs, or the ladder.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Sparks go flying.
Yes, well, I was headed the other direction, although time is not of the essence. Right now, I suppose I could help you.
Well, you tell us what you're looking for, and we can tell you if we have it. To trade.
I have a feeling that you don't, and that none of you can particularly help me with what I am looking for. So, I don't want to tell you any more than it. Well, yes, I suppose we're not idiots here, are we? Well, not all of us. As he looks around, super obvious to the third guy in, and everyone else looks at him too on the line, who is sitting there chewing tobacco. with a none too bright look on his face. Yes, not all of us are stupid. I am indeed looking for one of these artificial humans, yes.
Well,
It
let's
doesn't,
have one of
doesn't
those.
seem like any of you know much about it, though, so...
Unless you do, Peabody. You are artificial being yourself. Have you heard of...
Excuse me, I'm only part artificial. I still have a bit of
Is there any
the old
information stored in
flesh.
those, in that noggin of yours?
Well, yes. Let me see here. Do seem to have some recollection of art people, and then he spews off some random information that he would know. Apparently, John can make that up. I don't know the history of. I don't know how back they go or
Yes,
the history.
Peabody goes ahead and begins using some very horrific, slanderous racial epithets, which most of you don't even know from your time. But yes, Peabody is reminded of some of the wars that he fought against the clones and the humans that were made superior by machines, and it's another group that Peabody has, well, not very fond memories of. That's for sure. But everyone raider or bounty hunter, whatever they are, and members of this tank troop alike is sort of just looking at each other, scratching their heads as Peabody goes off using all these anachronistic racist terms that people would be offended by if they knew what he was talking about. But you can catch enough to know that it is offensive and to get the gist of what he's saying, at least.
So
yes, everyone's just
at
like...
the end of the skin job war, there was nary left but two of us, and I wandered off into the sunset, and that was really all that I know.
I knew that you were a war robot. You were telling us... I knew you were full of crap, Peabody. You were telling us you were a baker. You're no baker, a servant.
Yes, there seems to be some corruption in my data files.
Well, we'll get you to Gearshift and get you fixed up.
In Gearshift, they should be able to help you. Some of my men could. Maybe have a look if you want.
Yes, perhaps.
I don't know if I want you people sticking your fingers into my circuitry.
That's what we do
Well,
best.
Stick your fingers in other places, but my circuitry is off limits.
Around these parts, we stick our fingers wherever we want.
So, a trade. We do have surplus of certain items. If what you say is true, and it is only 2 days to Gearshift, we do have spare water. We have oil, if you're looking for oil for whatever purposes. We have kitchen utensils.
Any food?
Yes, we have. We will also have surplus food if we are as close as you say.
I have medical training of a sort. If any of your men are injured,
I kind of
enough.
look at him like, really? I didn't know that.
Good enough for me. I was gonna have to head back to Gearshift before long anyways to pick up something, so sure, fair enough. So he sort of turns around, begins telling his men some things. The ones that, a good amount of these guys, most of them hopped off their horses to stretch out their legs and, air out the sweatier parts of their bodies that you get when you sit on a horse all day with or without armor in the desert. Of course, none of these guys smell any too good. Should you guys get any too close to them, but then again, neither do you guys probably. So yeah, they sort of begin to finish up their water or eating or whatever they're doing, so they can get back on their horses and go back the way they came. Apparently.
Well, if you will guide us to Gearshift, we can pay you in, as I said, food, water, oil, kitchen utensils, kitchen supplies. We can pay you half now and half when we get to Gearshift.
We can help you look for a bioreplicant in Gearshift if we have time.
That's what you prefer.
We're on good terms with them. We've combed the area more than once. Although any help will certainly be appreciated. Any food and water supplies that you have will be enough to suffice it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I kind of hash out. I mean, I'm not going to go into specific details of exactly how much I'm giving them, but we hash out a sort of deal that
Sure.
give us enough supplies to make it back to Shamrock when we have to go, but gives them a fair amount. My character is not, unless any of your characters, I don't have any good sort of bargaining ability. So if he takes advantage of that, he takes advantage of that because I don't. I certainly have no good concept of that sort of thing.
I can negotiate with him.
Well, if you step up,
I would love to see that.
So Peabody notices that this guy's perhaps trying to take a little bit advantage, so he tries to get involved in this.
Sure.
What was it exactly? He was just giving us supplies, right? Like
we're just giving them a few supplies in exchange for guiding us to Gearshift. I believe that's.
But there is 10 of them, so theoretically 10 men worth of supplies could be, even for 2 days, that's still a good amount of supplies, I suppose.
So we were giving them supplies?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Maybe
so
you can volunteer to cook, Peabody. Being a baker.
I don't think he's gonna I don't think you're gonna want to eat anything that he's gonna cook. It's probably gonna be like bolts mixed with butter. There's something really bizarre.
During this time, like Reginald's going to lead Charlene back into the tank and sort of explain to Murdoch what's going on.
So what's the name of this leader dude? Sorry to cut you off. I just trying to remember his name.
We never actually asked.
Oh, we never asked.
He has not given you a name yet.
What should I call you, sir?
I'm your man. That's all you need to know for now.
Your man. Okay. Well, your man. I don't like this deal so far. I think we need to work on the arrangement a little bit.
Do we?
Yes. Yes, we really do.
So me escorting you through the desert for simply the rations to get us through the journey through the desert, and no other pay than that wasn't a good enough deal for you. Do you want us to, of our own goodwill, use our food and supplies to show you lot through the desert?
No, you're getting ahead of yourself. I didn't mean anything like that. But here's the problem. You see, I have certain needs. Being out in the desert with the dust and the elements, I've grown a bit stiff, and I'm not accustomed to this sort of climate. I need you to help me. And I saw there was some oil on one of your packs over there. And I would like one of you to, help out in certain areas, if you catch my drift.
Yes, well, I don't really know the intricacies of such things, but several of my men, well, the ones with more metal parts than flesh, they see to each other and keep everyone in working order.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
They should be able to help you. However, you'll have to wait until night falls. It's well, that's when we set up. You can come to our tent and we'll take care of you then. But
That sounds good.
we had best begin traveling if we are to get anywhere.
That sounds good, except there is one other thing I would like to point out, friend. We are heading in the wrong direction if we are to get to Gearshift. And I must insist that we not dilly-dally and take a circuitous route in order that you might procure more provisions than are necessary for yourself.
Oh, so you wanna go the direct way? That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, let me guess. This is your first time. Your first time going to Gearshift, I'm guessing.
I've been to Gearshift plenty of times. I come from Gearshift.
Well, there's sometimes the most direct route isn't always the easiest one. But if you wish to go the direct route, so be it. I and my men, we are versed in the terrain of this area. If you feel as though you can stomach it, then so be it.
I really feel that is the best course of action.
Well then, let's see just what your tank can do.
Let's see that indeed. And he walks off.
As I'm walking back, as we kind of prep the tank, getting ready to go, and I kind of, shake Peabody's hand. Good negotiating there. I never knew you were such a good talker.
Well, there are many things you don't know about me, Edgar, but there's plenty of time to learn it all.
Yes, I'd like that.
All right, so Reginald, let's cut to you. So you brought her back down and back up sort of to the cockpit to where Murdoch is. So yeah.
I'll make sure she was okay because I felt like she was probably a bit scared, and she's been with us a few days now. She's kind of grown on me a bit since she's one of the few humans that seems to talk to me as well as these guys.
She is a bit scared. She seems a bit more excited and wondrous than anything. So what are those? Who are those guys?
I don't really know. I'm going to take a guess and say probably bandits. Probably not very nice men, but thankfully you're not the thing they were looking for. We just had to.
You mean they don't follow the law?
Very doubtful out in the desert now.
I mean there is a law out here, right? I don't think the law over the Shamrock law would be the same as the desert law, but I mean the desert has laws, right?
Unfortunately, no.
It's not just
the law of Shamrock only extends as far as Shamrock can enforce it. Out here, it's every man, cyborg, mutant for himself. But you're safe with us. I give Murdoch a pat on the back. You're alright. We're in a tank.
I've never felt this way before. This is exciting. This is what happens when people go on adventures. This isn't just sitting around some bar day in and day out, making bread and ale and sandwiches and slicing meat.
He was no fun.
I mean, I'm still doing all the same things out here. The activities are the same, but the scenery has changed.
Yes, it's a different place. I take it you've not travelled far from Shamrock.
Never. I've never been outside of the limits.
I know you find this all very exciting, but a word of advice, Charlene, from someone who's travelled around a bit, I would stay in the tank during night time. Don't venture out of this place where we can't keep an eye on you, especially around these people we don't really know, and I don't entirely trust them either.
Sure, you don't have to tell me twice.
And keep an eye on that Peabody. He's a bit, you know. I kind of give a vague indication of, short wired, screwed loose. Slightly
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I wasn't sure if they were all that way, or if that's just him, or if something's wrong with
He
him.
he's actually one of the more friendlier ones, believe it or not. I've met some real nasty ones back in my day, before I looked like this.
Hmm. Yeah, that's. I've been meaning to ask you, Reginald, where you're such a pleasant man. But I think you're a man. No offense, but
I,
you're such a pleasant individual. You must have came from some great city where they taught you etiquette, or is there some sort of rabbit city where?
Sadly, no. I used to have a really big family. Me and a community of, well, just normal, well, I suppose you say normal mutated humans. No more so muted than, say, Edward. We used to live together in a forest city, I guess would be the best terms. It was just like Shamrock, but inside a forest. And unfortunately, one day we were attacked by a bunch of cyborgs who wanted to take over. They wanted the trees. Apparently, were something to do with the swamp it grew from. They were special, and they wanted to use the trees for some reason, for some construction. And they chased us from it. And in doing so, we ended up in the swamp itself, and that is what caused all this.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
horrible. These
it's,
man, these cyborgs are douches, aren't they?
well, well, I used to think so, but Peabody's kind of give me pause for thought. He's more naive than evil, I suppose. He's not the kind to kill a person just for being in their
Well,
way.
sure, he's nice enough, but how sane is he? I mean, yeah, I like him. Playing charades the other night when he was toasted was pretty fun. I have nothing against him, but I mean, what sort of a trade-off is that? Either you're angsty and angry at the world, or you're a few screws and 8 marbles short. Sort of a trade-off is that?
I know what you're saying. He's a bit of an intriguing fellow, but coming from someone who's used to being judged because of just looking like a freak, I don't feel inclined to treat him the same way. I knew
Yeah,
what it was
yeah.
like to be. I knew it was like to be generally treated as a normal person. I know the difference between being this and being what I was.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I've spent so long with Horace. This is I suppose becomes second nature.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the old rust buckets.
All right.
Can't blame him.
So she continues cooking, and sort of Murdoch sort of makes his way up. Um, with his of course he's a mutant as well. The most defining features about him being the magnitude of quills on his back, and also his porcupine-like tail. Even though he's not a bestial human, he has a porcupine tail. Um, so he sort of walks up. So what's the deal?
It seems like sorry, Edward and Peabody have negotiated safe travel to Gearshift with a bunch of fellows who who I believe are probably not of the most lawful mindset. I believe they're probably bandits. I've not asked them, but then what would be the point?
Yeah, they it didn't look like the most amiable of people, but I guess they seem well enough. Whatever we can do to get out of this desert and into some sort of civilized area as fast as possible sounds all right to me.
Actually, Murdoch, they were very interested in finding out if we were a bioreplicant. Do you know what one of those is? Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah, I've heard the word before. I don't really know what it means or anything like that. I mean, I suppose you could break down the word itself, and it'll give you a pretty good idea. But other than that, a replica of something. How it doesn't even make sense. Is it alive? Is it a replica of something that is alive? Is it a replica that is alive? Is it made to replicate life? Uh,
To me, it sounds like a
I've heard the
cyborg.
term before, but other than that, yeah, right.
Yeah. But every cyborg I've met has definitely looked like a robot. Like if they're saying they look like us, because
Yeah, I
you seem
guess
to
that's
think they look like us. Well, look like Charlene, maybe. Not like me. I mean, obviously, I don't look very human at all these days. Just with his
right.
saggy skin and his grey, like, pallor. Or little insects that sometimes crawl out from underneath his leather jerkin,
The lumpy wrinkles on your face.
and the massive floppy ears.
And the whip-like tail, the
And the rat
rat
tail.
tail.
I
Really,
usually
we
keep
should
that.
do
I
this
usually
on.
keep that like yeah. I usually keep it like curled up to avoid making it obvious.
I just always imagine your character like completely naked too. I don't know why, but except for the
Well,
helmet, because you specified that there's the helmet, but that doesn't
well,
make any sense.
I
Like
imagine him
to
traveling in
me,
desert. He's got like a rag or something, and he's just kind of wrapped it around like a cloak, so he's even more covered than usual at the moment. To get the dust out of his eyes, and he doesn't want to get an infection, does he? Not while he's out here.
sure.
So I don't know about Peabody and Edward Murdoch, but I don't trust these guys, so I'm gonna say you keep a very close eye on this tank. Don't let them get inside it if you can help it. Don't let them look around.
Yeah, I'm guessing by the sound of it, it's probably a good thing that none of us are bioreplicas. I don't think they wanted to hand out gift certificates at the diner for anyone that fell in the demographic or anything like that. Hopefully, well, no offense, but I'm not sure if she has the capacity to lie. But hopefully, Betty Sue over here was telling the truth.
Hopefully. Well, he seemed to know. He seemed to be able to tell if one was one or not. So I guess I trusted his judgment in that. Since I have no idea what they. I've never seen one as far as I know. Kind of looking back at Charlene, with a quizzical look on my face. Slightly suspicious, but not entirely. Like how would one know?
So right about this time, Peabody comes clanging down the ladder, and he overhears you, and he's like, "Well, back in the war, we had a surefire test. We would just cut one open and see." I'm stealing your idea there.
Coming down, I shout, "It's time to go, guys. Rev up the engine. Let's go."
You would cut one open and yeah, that may be a good note to actually start on. Yeah. And as you say that, of course now the guys are sort of preparing their horses to lead, and so we'll fade off there. Meanwhile,
It's bedtime.
yes, it is.
Woohoo!
So
Which character?
coming to our jungle party, we have, of course, as a refresher to all of our viewers out there, we have Ebony the Black Bear, sort of a raider, a rogue. Well, she's been a raider in her past. We'll see what her future holds. She's a 10 and a half foot tall humanoid bear with a sniper rifle. We have Billy Buck, who is a badass. I mean, he really is. He's an elite soldier who's only 17 years old, I believe, or 18 years old. He's from the South. He's well, he's kind of a hillbilly, but he's also opulent. He's got lots of money, he's a mutant. He's got lots of mutations, lots of huge guns, and lots of sexual fetishes. In fact, it may be easier to list which sexual fetishes he doesn't have, rather than those that he
His
does.
name.
Yes.
Yeah, rough life
Although their relationship may be a bit more platonic now. Still, again, it remains to be seen what decisions will be made. And finally, we have Lou, who is the mayor's right hand man, the mayor's mouthpiece, the mayor of Shamrock. Lou is a pretty boy, kind of Justin Timberlake of the post-apocalyptic wasteland. He's got striking blue eyes, fine features, very attractive to everyone, regardless of your species or orientation. And he's got quite a way with words, but he's probably not feeling too at home in the jungle, which is, of course, where you guys are right now. As we come upon your group, night is about to fall. It's probably about 40 minutes, maybe an hour, until the sun has gone down completely, and so the caravan has stopped, and everyone has sort of unloaded their tents, and the turtles are preparing their wagon to put themselves up for the night and continue their journey on in the morning. Donovan has gone out to find something to eat. More for fun than necessity. There's plenty of food there, but he is a hunter. That is what he's doing. You can't make a hunter walk through a jungled area, forest for 2.5 days straight and not let him go out and hunt when he's got some spare time. So he's out on the hunt, and yes, the turtles are very, very predictable lot. These turtle folk are. They're doing the same thing they do every night in the very same fashion. Well, most of them are very, very predictable, even more so than most humanoid races or demi-human races. You guys can each set up your scene or paint the picture to what you're doing.
So we had decided we were going to take the route through the beast area or whatever.
Yeah, supposedly.
Yes, you guys are taking.
Yeah, a layer nearby. Beast.
Yes. So you guys are 2 days away from in 2 nights from now. You should be arriving in the turtle village, Lord willing. So yes, like I said, the sun has, well, you're in the forest, so most of the day you can't really see the sun or sunlight anyway, but the sun is still maybe about an hour away from total darkness, and when the forest will really come to life. So it's twilight more or less, and but it is fairly dark. Of course, you are in a very heavily covered forest, so twilight is really all but dark, probably for our perception.
Assuming that all is well as we are traveling currently, Ebony will be trying to get Lou to explain to her, how he cooked that amazing breakfast the day before, because she was in awe.
Lou has actually been abnormally silent throughout the day after his confession, and I'm just, once I get to camp, I pretty much ignore if anyone's really talking to me. I kind of just take off my pack and start setting up camp. I seem to avoid a lot of eye contact as well with people.
Okay.
Realizing this.
So as you ask this, Ebony.
Sorry, I'm like saying, the third or fourth time asking him, Lou. Oh, is it getting ignored?
he has to actually make a bit of eye contact with you until you finally get it. He keeps like, like Ebony will come up to him and he'll just like turn around, about face, and walk the other direction. But he has to like actually not really give her a dirty look, but like, actually make a bit of eye contact before like she's like.
I don't want to talk right now.
Oh.
I'm not up for talking right now.
Like I try and make it more obvious every couple of times. Like the last few times, I'll bring over like a pan or something and be like, trying to get his attention.
I kind of just signs. What is it, Ebony?
Lou, no, you're an interesting man. You tell me interesting stories, but the thing that I find interesting the most about you is how do you cook like that? I have eaten things from all corners of this crazy world, and nothing has tasted like what you made yesterday. How did you do that?
Did your parents ever teach you to cook when you grew up?
My parents, they didn't value things like cooking, fighting, killing, living in a cave was their kind of idea. Fun.
Well, it's quite simple.
Ebony dreamed of a bigger life. A life filled with adventure. A life filled with good food and good times. That's how I met Billy Buck. You ever told you that story?
Yes,
One of my
I
first jobs.
unfortunately do remember that story. Yes, thanks for bringing that to mind.
A job's a job, dude. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Well, it's quite simple, actually.
You seem sad. Why are you sad? We are a couple of days from destination. Nobody's dead. Everybody doing a good job. What could you be so sad about? If I could cook like you, I'd smile every day. And I do like a big kind of grin, which is probably terrifying. Like it's about like imagine a shark smile.
Yeah, I kind of stepped back a bit. Not really sad. I just don't really feel like chatting. I've done enough chatting today.
You want some advice, Lou? Probably not, but I'm going to give you anyway. Sometimes Ebony believes sometimes you need to hear the hard truth. Don't be ashamed to be yourself. Even if that self is confusing. Look, she sort of gestures to herself and then wanders off in search of food.
And just to remind everyone, this is what the bestial human bears look like.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the human hair makes it really disturbing to me. I don't know why, but like
Would it make it more disturbing if I had like bangs as well?
Probably.
Little ribbons in.
Well, Lou looked kind of a little bit relieved when she. Not that he doesn't enjoy Ebony's company. Ebony is pleasant enough to talk to. It's just he doesn't feel like talking. So he, goes by his business of setting up. He goes over to Billy Buck, kind of puts his hands out like, come on, because by now we've been out here a couple days, and the routine is that he grabs everyone's packs and just starts setting up the campsite. Because Lou actually has very few personal possessions, so he sets up other people's tents. Because that's just what he does.
You're setting up that tent all sorts of wrong, son.
Well, it's not like I've done a ton of camping before this time. If you want,
Yeah, that's obvious. Here, let me show you how to do it properly. So Billy sets out to show you how to stake things down and put up the fly and everything like that. And for him, you sense that he's not doing it to make you feel bad. It's his way of like trying to bond with you, I guess, in his way of his demeaning way, I guess.
Well, Lou is quite horrible at it. It's not something he's used to, and it takes several explanations to get it right. Wait, the pole goes over here?
Yeah, but you got to bend it like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that now.
Them soft hands of yours need to get some calluses on them before you call yourself a real man, see?
Well, as I've already stated to you, Billy Buck, you have your job, I have mine.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So,
Yeah, man, you can't blame him for that. I mean, well, no offense, but being created what he was created for, I think he was probably made to have nice hands, man.
I didn't realize.
Maybe you should have been born. You should have been born a few hundred years ago. I once came across an ancient artifact known as a magazine, I think they used to call them, and, well, I think you could have been a Tom Bosley hand model, my friend. I don't know if that means anything to you, but it's the highest compliment you can give anyone as far as their manual appearance.
I am not a machine. You get he doesn't take it at all as a joke. He's actually seriously offended that you compared him to a machine, something built by like a robot or something.
Oh man, well, it was made by a machine, but it's no machine, man. It's a picture of a man, is what I'm saying. You could have been a model back in the day. When they had mass communication and things like that, they had celebrities, people who other people like to look at their face, no matter how stupid they were or what sort of incoherent things they did for the public eye. People just kept eating them up, and well, you would have been one of those people, man. I didn't mean it as any sort of offense. You see, I'm a bit of a history buff myself. Well, when I have time for it.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a history buff myself. In fact, I'm gonna tell you a story, and Billy is dead serious. You can tell he's got something on his chest. He's just waiting to get off. He sits down. He's all serious, and he sits down on the log. He's like, "Come closer, come closer." And you guys all sit down, or?
Yeah, Donovan does. He's got nothing else to do. He pulls out a snake. He pulls out a snake that he killed and puts over the fire.
Ebony's sort of walking the perimeter at the moment, sort of instructing people for keeping guard and things. As you're doing this, she's sort of in the background at the moment, listening in though.
I mean, I'm listening. I'm doing work while I'm listening to what you're doing. So I'm chopping some firewood.
Yeah.
Fire.
Let me show you. I got something I want to show you, pretty boy. Put that axe down. Come over here. I'm gonna show you something special to me. Since you gone down and you said some pretty personal things to us yesterday. And that means something to Billy Buck, okay? So I'm gonna meet you halfway, and I'm gonna tell you something about me. And so he pulls up his sleeve, pulls up his armor, and on his right sleeve here he has a tattoo of the Confederate flag, and you've probably never seen that.
My character knows nothing about history.
Yeah, because this was however many hundreds of years ago, and so he's like, this right here, this was the emblem back hundreds and hundreds of years ago of this here land, and it used to be called the United States of America, and let me tell you, my people from where I'm from, they started this great land, this great country called the United States of America. And back in America, there was a great war, a great civil war, and here's what had happened: a bunch of uh, of these dark-skinned people that were natives to this country. They enslaved the light-skinned people. The white-skinned people were slaves in this country, and there was a great war fought, and a lot of these people fought for their freedom. and he starts to cry, like a tear comes to his eye as he tells this backwards story. And at the end of this war, these white-skinned people, they were given their freedom. And so I found this story. This story was passed down from my family, and I wear this great tattoo, this symbol of freedom, right here on my arm. So we never repeat the sins of the past. And he just cried. He just begins
captured by
crying.
this story. I'm, kind of like, wow, they must have lied to me in the facility. They told me that the war was started by the slaves who were the ones who started this war. But that's very interesting. They told me many lies. So.
They lied to you, son. Let me tell you. The whites, they were slaves for a long, long time, and they had to fight for their freedom. And then he just begins sobbing. He can't finish his twisted version of history.
He bites his lip and pulls his sleeve down over his arm. If you're lucky, one day maybe he'll tell you about his Star of David tattoo too.
Ebony looks over and sees Billy crying, and he just shouts over, "You lost your gun again, Billy."
No. He can't finish. He just sobs, sobbing tears. So.
Oh, wow.
I kind of move over and I
Donovan begins applauding. That was incredible, man. I get my hands on whatever I can, but unfortunately, most of those intelligent type of people try to get their hands on factual type of stuff. So I'll get what I can, but it's not much. I never heard anything like that before, man. It's great.
Now it does say in the rule book there is like a faction of humans. What are they called? They're like purists or something.
The pure strain humans are the ones who are, they're not tainted by any sort of mutation. They're basically like you and me, pretty much. And they, back a long time ago, they were the ones who, created all these slave races. I mean, but my character totally believes you. Absolutely. And he comes over and he kind of, like pats you on the back. There, Billy Buck. That was an inspiring story. You'll have to tell me more about your ancestors and this great war they fought in. Truly, they were heroes to this land.
Oh, it's so wrong. I'm so sorry, but I just had to. It was just.
Well, hey, lots of people out of game. Yeah, lots of people
Out of game. Sorry, that was clearly out of game what I just said.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying like lots of people. People have really like completely wrong views about what happened. What brought the country to the ground.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like propaganda. He's just got this totally backwards view that's been passed down for hundreds of years in his family.
Right. Well, and no one's probably right. I mean, everyone killed everyone, and you know what I mean. Who's right in any given war?
But he thinks that the whites were the slaves, and
it's real to him. You know what I mean? It's real to him.
It's just so wrong. I'm sorry. Anyways, onwards.
After I get done, I pat him on the back and I go back to my work. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a break real quick too.
All right. Well, I guess we will have a short intermission here, people. I'll take advantage of this myself, stretch my legs. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
And we're back. Oh, wait. No, we're not. I have to get some water. What am I looking at on Matthew's screen? There's like a guy with a pipe.
Yeah, it looks like that's Mathew, and he's dressed up and something. He's got a pipe in his mouth. And
Is that how come that picture comes on? Is that like a webcam thing?
it's well, at least for me, it's when my for some like it's like a default sort of background that'll come up
Oh,
with my screen. Sometimes like my profile picture will come up. Like a profile
that's
picture.
weird. I don't think mine does that.
So you're yeah, Lou is going about his business, but he seems a little bit like your story may have lightened his mood a little bit, um, and he starts cooking some food, and eventually, I think we still got the lizard meat, some of the lizard meat left over, so cook
Yeah,
some.
we skinned like a ton of stuff. What was what was that thing we killed last time?
I don't think we skinned that. That looked
Did
pretty
we?
nasty.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, it looked like it could have been sapient. It looked like it was humanoid. It kind of had this gray sort of pale skin with these purple sort of big purple bags under its eyes. And no, it didn't look like something you should probably eat. But
Okay.
yeah,
There was something
Well,
else
well,
we found.
that
There was
thing,
like some
that thing you
cows.
encountered last.
oh, the cows. Yeah, we didn't kill any of those, but there were these big sort of, some normal-looking cows, but also some ones that had giant horns coming off of their heads, several sets. Like
Yeah. Each one of them, the horns were like braided too. I think it had two horns on each side that then were like interlocked, sort of, like crisscrossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've just been rolling randomly so far. I have some encounters, of course, planned out, but as far as the combat that we've had thus far, it's just been random stuff that I've rolled. So just
Yeah,
rolling with it.
this game is crazy.
Pun intended.
This game has
A little
You
bit.
never know what you're gonna expect. Just anything.
I like it because it's so diverse. Like it has a wide range, but it's also has a very specific flavor to it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got
It's not
its own
generic,
world.
but you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factions pitted against each other too, which is cool.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. It struck me as a good game to like do a good setting to do like a political, to some extent, not necessarily just a political game, but have at least a little bit of politics. Just because you have, like you said, so many factions and cultures and ethnicities. You know, few who probably get along with each other. I mean, honestly, you know. What were you saying, Andrew?
Oh no, I was just gonna say in character, my character cooks up some food, steaming plate of lizard meat, and starts handing it out to everyone.
Oh man, I'm good on that. I got mine here. If anyone wants a bit. Donovan sort of slurps up this snake flesh, which has now been cooked. Which I hear snake is actually pretty tasty, but I don't know. At any rate, Donovan seems to enjoy it quite a bit. And you guys, and by this point, of course, the fire is built, and more or less everyone in the group, turtles included, is there sitting around the fire, except for maybe someone's keeping watch or already went to bed in the wagon, one of the turtles. But everyone is there more or less finishing their meals at this point. And then these turtle people pretty much go they eat for like a very long time, a ridiculous amount, probably about 3/4 their weight in vegetables. They just don't even chew it, just swallow it all. They don't even have teeth. As turtles would, so it takes them quite a while to eat. But after they do, well, you're not really sure, I suppose, whether they're warm-blooded or cold-blooded. But after they eat, they always pretty much go right to sleep.
How many of
With
them
the
are there?
exception of perhaps some of the more human ones. There is, I believe, I said a half dozen. Is that right? If anyone can correct me if I
kind of look around.
I believe that.
I was just going to say, I look around at the group, and I can't really tell which one of them is Sparky. They all look the same to me. So I'm like, Sparky, where are you? Where are you?
Right. I'm right next to you.
Oh,
She's
hi.
slightly annoyed.
Yes. So how's it been going for you guys? Holding up okay?
Well, I'm sure you've noticed that we're quite anxious. You didn't actually notice because they're turtle people. You have a very hard time reading their emotions.
Yep.
I'm sure you noticed that we're quite anxious to see what tomorrow has in store for us. Some of us feel as though, well, perhaps I shouldn't say anything negative, but some of the members of the party, especially the older ones, are not in the best of spirits about it. Although I personally am salivating for a chance to finally see this creature.
Well, I rather hope we don't see it.
Plan is The plan is that we will be as quiet as possible. Really, as soon as we wake up tomorrow, all day, it's best from this point on to just not speak unless absolutely necessary, and even then in hushed tones. Well, we don't really know if this thing can sense people through vibrations in the ground, or if it has incredibly good ears. At any rate, well, it's best to try and be quiet and subtle if at all possible. I know that for some of us, subtlety does not come easy. He looks at Ebony and Billy Buck. I mean, she looks at, well, it could be a he for all you guys know. She looks at Ebony and Billy Buck. Although each of us has our own strength in turn. I'm sure we will be fine. However, it would be foolish, incredibly foolish to say that all of us will survive this encounter. I hope all of us do. But no one has survived this beast yet. Only one man that I've ever spoken to has ever even seen the thing.
I don't know. Have you seen Billy Buck at his work? He was quite impressive, him and Ebony taking care of those lizards. I think they'll be fine.
This thing has thick skin like a hippopotamus or a rhino. Thick, pale skin that's hard to penetrate. It's got eyes that they say glows in the darkness. Eyes that are not of any color, but are of a black so deep, a void so dark, that within the blackness of its own cave and within the darkness of its jungle, there is a shine of sorts within this void. They say that its teeth are as big as the shell upon my back. But I suppose all of that is merely superstition, speculation. Perhaps, at any rate, if we're lucky, or unlucky, depending on who you are, tomorrow we'll get a glimpse of the thing. Maybe more than that. So she seems to be the only. There's a couple other turtles there who, again, it's you can kind of by the way their mannerisms are, kind of tell who you think well, when you first saw this group of turtle folk, you pretty much you thought you had them pegged, like, oh, those are the older ones, those are kind of younger, but then you've sort of started to second guess things probably over over the course of interacting with them. But from what you from what you assume to be some of the younger, a couple of the younger ones are sitting there, sort of on the edge of their seat, listening to her tell this ghost story, as it were, around this campfire. While the older ones have sort of huffed or gone off silently to lay down for the evening, without really caring to hear about anything more.
So can I ask a question out of character? This was
Yeah.
the thing that was killing all the turtle people, or do we know that?
Yes.
What was our original mission? I forget.
She said that it doesn't hunt them. It doesn't go out of its way to kill them. But yes, they pretty much have learned through the years to steer clear of its path, at least maybe seasonally, maybe altogether, but to steer clear of its path. And she said it doesn't tend to go too far from its home. But yes, but it assumably devours, or at least kills, anyone that's come in contact with it. Well, from what she's told you, anyway.
I think
So-
what you're asking about the turtle person who was killed outside of town.
Yeah, what was the deal with that again? Like, what's our original mission? I forgot.
Well, from what I was able to tell, we were going to be escorting the turtle people back to their village and then trying to discover who murdered the turtle person outside of town, if we could.
Yeah, it pretty much you just the mayor needs to the whole town, the whole community, the farm, everyone needs to keep, or at this point they think they need, at any rate, from the mayor's perspective, they need to keep good relations with the turtle people because they bring them food and, more importantly, water. And there's a crisis right now, so like you need to keep things on good terms with the turtle folk. However, the dead body of one of their sons put that relationship as a tenuous one at best. So now your Lou is going to go in there and kind of work his politico magic, kind of smooth things over, hopefully. And the rest of you are more or less the party who's escorting them. And yes, if, of course, it's assumed that the turtle people will want to get to the bottom of this, and you will probably have to find out, or want to find out, who did it or what's going on. But at this point, it's pretty much just to make sure that relations between Shamrock and the turtle folk community in the jungle, in the forest, remains a good one for everyone involved. And the turtle folk don't have any money or anything. This is just setting stuff that you guys would already know. The turtle folk don't have any money or anything like that. Well, not that you guys have ever seen anyway. They seem to just trade trade for other other valuables, other materials. They don't really use any guns or any technology like that. Crossbows is really the only like mechanical weapon thing they have. And like a wagon is like more or less the height of their technology. Or what they choose to accept at any rate into their culture. But they trade for wagons and wood and just supplies for supplies more or less. On an individual basis. They don't have a contract with the town or anything.
Okay. Well,
But right now, the mission is to survive, to get to the Turtle Village, so you can smooth things over and
Gotcha.
hopefully get back to Shamrock.
Okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah,
the-
that's
yeah,
the
okay.
abbreviated
Let's go.
So we chose to go through this part of the forest with the beast because it was faster. Is that what the deal was, or?
Yeah. It was either going to be 3 days to the Turtle Village or like a week and 3 days. So you guys opted for 3 days.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, I just was trying to refresh.
No, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. That's totally fine. And that'll get you guys' gears, get you guys in character, thinking about
Yeah.
everything you need to think about.
Yeah.
So yes. So like I said, so you guys are sitting there. I don't know if you guys are ready to retire for the night, or if you guys have any other dialoguing or things that you want or need to do around the campfire.
Well, my character is very emotionally and physically exhausted from today, so he, after he finishes cleaning the dishes, he heads to bed.
Billy is just going to. He's staring into the fire as the night kind of gradually descends upon them, and he's sharpening his knife very slowly.
I imagined that you were holding your Confederate flag with one hand in your arm, and shaking slightly.
Oh, he just had a tattoo. I don't think he actually has a flag.
I mean, like your hand was on the flag, and you kind of just rocking.
Although I'm sure
yeah.
he would love to own one.
Yes, he
would love it if he had one.
He has one hand on the flag, but yeah.
Ebony is, I suppose, taking first watch, keeping an eye out. She doesn't expect the creature to show itself at this point, but she feels she's got a job to do, and but the fact that she's alive and well has never failed yet in anything, apart from that one time trying to be a dancer.
Did you
Flashback
talk to
to
Rooy about watches? Because he knows of no such thing.
No. Like while you and Billy Buck were having a powwow, I was sort of sorting that out in the background, going around saying, "Okay, turtles."
Yeah, you've heard his stories like 100 times, so you were like not really interested.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll take a watch."
Sure. So as you guys settle down for the night, in your sleeping bags or on your watch, of course as night comes into full swing, the moon may be bright, but it doesn't shine down through many of the canopies, and the forest comes alive, teeming with life. A dozen times more so than during the day it does at night. So much to the point that it feels. I mean, the forest itself is alive. It feels, and as though it can swallow you up in its natural fury at any second. Although few things do opt to come across your path. With the smell of ebony and the size of this party, everyone in the group knows and probably tries not to think about the sort of things that are out there and watching you, whether or not they decide to interact with you, and regardless of what their intentions are. people think that's the sort of thing to try best put as far away from their mind as possible. It's the sort of thing that perhaps Lou will always romanticize, going out on adventures in his day-to-day life. But now that he's in the midst of it, well, he's certainly fantasizing about being back in his mundane life. And even for some of the more rough and tumble characters, even for Donovan, Billy, Buck, and Ebony, at a certain point, you just need to sort of disengage, which is what most people try to do as they fall asleep. So, the next morning, everyone begins to gather their supplies together, everything, and continue making down the trail. And there's a bit of a somber atmosphere. As she said, not that turtle folk are great socializers or orators anyway, but there's even less people talking to each other, and there's sort of trying to be a light of foot as they walk around. And people are, pretty much just beginning to make their way down the trail again.
Okay, I'll take the lead, I suppose, unless Donovan's in the lead.
No, that's fine.
Scout out. I'll go out and do some recon. As you know, I'll be pretty far ahead of you guys, just reconning the forest and where along the trail and things.
Okay. Well, Lou kind of.
Okay. So.
Oh, I was just going to say that Lou is, today, unlike other days, he is fully bedecked in all of his armor. So he has a big iron helmet on and his heavy leathers, and he has his bow kind of in his hand, ready to go. And he looks pretty nervous and stays mostly towards the middle of the group, middle of the turtle folk, kind of in that area.
Oh man, remember what happened last time you shot that thing, man. You hit it right on. Maybe you have more skill than you think. You don't exactly hold it like a natural there, but well, we can't all be Billy Bucks.
Well, I was gifted with. I kind of try to keep a little bit quiet, following the advice of the turtle people, but yeah. I was gifted, though, with some natural grace, shall we say. So even though I may not be very familiar with the bow, I still can. I have pretty good aim.
So you guys begin to make your way up this trail, which the trail itself is pretty smooth considering. Of course, there are a couple creeks here and there that you guys have to cross, and they're really small, nothing that even warrants any bridge or anything of that nature. But it's fairly easy going. Most of it is uphill, not at a steep incline or anything, but it's fairly easy going. And even you guys get to some points where this path has been so cleared out, and you get to a high enough elevation that you'll get over a little point, and you'll even have the sunlight will flood in completely, or you'll have somewhat of a view of course, just more treescape. Nothing really, but there are even points where it sort of opens up and you could see a bit, and you continue on this way with Billy Buck in front, and eventually, Billy Buck, you come to a Y of sorts in the road. The way that you guys are coming, and then there's two other ways, and assumably, obviously, these people know which way to go. So you probably stand here, stand here for a minute and perhaps wait for them to catch up. But as you do, you stand here for probably about 5 minutes or so. You hear the sound of voices. Voices coming from down one of the other paths. You can't really make out any words or anything like that specifically, but you can hear people talking.
Interesting. You said we all hear him, or is it just me?
Just you. Well, I mean, perhaps Ebony does with her bare ears, but you're the one that's there right now on your own. And everyone else will be there in short order.
How far ahead am I, would you say? Like 30, 40 meters or more?
They'll probably be there. A little bit. Yeah, probably about that. A little bit more. The whole group will probably be upon you in about 4 or 5 minutes. They don't go too fast considering they are turtle people.
Yeah, and we're in jungle, so I'm gonna just try and sneak up on these and just get a look at what I'm dealing with.
All right. So you sort of hesitantly head down this path, probably with your firearm in tow.
Yeah, I've got my shotgun out.
Cool. So yeah, you continue. Shut up. The longer you bitch about it, the longer it's gonna take. I don't know how long until we're out of here. It's gonna take as long as it takes, alright? Gosh. You hear what appears to be a father figure arguing with a son or perhaps an apprentice or something of that nature. Seems quite annoyed.
Okay, is there just 2 of them?
You have not seen them yet.
Okay.
They, the path being what it is, kind of windy. You haven't seen them yet, although they aren't far away.
Okay, I'm gonna find a spot. I'm gonna find a spot and kind of like wait for them hidden somewhere. I could probably tell which direction they're coming. I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure. They're not far from you at all. So you can just step in, behind a tree, no problem, and they'll be right there, of course. And yes, you can hear sort of the ricketing of another wagon, another caravan of sorts coming through. So you're behind this tree, and you sort of peek out and see what you can when you can, and yeah, the man who was yelling, you could tell by his voice, the main voice is leading this horse-drawn wagon, and he is a cyborg. He has a God, my mind just went blank. I can't even think. Jason Voorhees. He has a chainsaw. A chainsaw. That's the word I couldn't think of. He has a chainsaw for his arm. Well, for one of his arms. His other one is a regular arm, or appears to be. And he's leading this horse. About half of his skull is also just metal. You could tell it's just like titanium that's just exposed. And sitting on top of this. On top of this wagon is a woman who's sitting there knitting, oddly enough, and sitting next to her is what you assume to be their daughter.
Okay.
And as the coming alongside of the wagon is sort of a teenage looking boy who's also a cyborg. Both his legs are like bionic legs, and he's walking along. Although his arms are slumped over dramatically, and he's all like, throwing a fit as teenagers do when they have to do something that they don't want to do. And in his case, it's traipsing through a desert in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. and the contents of the wagon are trees. They are logs.
Okay. I'm going to actually. I'm going to step out in front of them. I'm not going to come up from behind, and I'm going to have my shotgun down. I'm not going to have it like raised at them. I'll still have it out, but I'm not going to like be pointing it at them. And yeah, so he's just going to step out, and when they get within like 10 meters, I'm not trying to surprise them really. In fact, I want to try and make it look like I'm walking along the trail before they see me. Like, I don't want it to be like I'm jumping out at them. So to their eyes, it's just going to look like I'm walking along the trail, coming at them. Howdy, folks.
Hi. Hello there. How fares it? Are you by yourself?
I'm just, I'm just going on a little walkabout, you could say. What are you all heading out to do here?
We were just coming back from a haul here. It's not very often that you find someone here in a situation by themselves.
Well, I didn't say I was by myself.
At that point, you hear you feel the ground rumble, and you hear something that sounds like a boulder rolling.
Okay.
Not too far from where you are.
Alrighty.
What the heck was that?
Do I smell anything from it?
Yes, you can smell something that smells. It smells like a cross between wood clippings and the dankness of a cave. If you can imagine what that cross would smell like, it's quite a strange smell indeed, and it is very very potent. Not to the extent that it bothers you necessarily, but it is. Yes, you don't have to consciously think it is. Yes, your nose goes off. What the hell was that?
We need to get out of here.
Hey,
we need
is
to get
there
out of here
someone
right
out
now.
there?
Follow me right now. And Billy turns around and...
Hang on. Wait a minute. Follow you? What are you? Is this some sort of ambush?
No, it's not no ambush. You're going to follow me? You're going to live or die.
Follow yourself.
And Billy's like, you better come with me. This ain't no ambush. But we got to get out of here right now.
Come on. Let's go. So he he decides to give you the benefit of the doubt, at least in this split second. He decides that it's best enough to usher his family along, and at this point, of course you two felt the rumble and heard the sound of what sounded like a boulder rolling over some grass or some trees. And you heard this yelling up ahead, and sure enough, you get around the turn to where this other caravan has come into sight now. And so you got this other caravan where Billy is, and the family, the cyborg family's caravan. They're about to where the Y is, and the other caravan is coming up on it. Not quite. So you guys aren't right there next to each other, but you guys are coming, opposite directions on the same road.
Yeah. We got incoming!
What the hell is that noise?
That noise is your doom! I shout. I'm shouting this like at the top of my lungs.
All right. Well, I grab an arrow and knock it and look around to see if I see where if the source of this sound is coming nearer.
We need to get this wagon out here as fast as possible, Sparky says, as the turtles kick it into high gear, at least for them, and push forward ever farther, ever stronger, trying to get to their destination.
Can I see anything from my range?
And there is enough room for both of these. Through the forest you can't. Not at this point. As far as the sound of the noise, you mean?
Yeah, can I see what it is that's making the noise?
No. You can't.
Ebony's gonna draw a compound crossbow, which I guess could be described to a normal person as a jumbo crossbow. Humongous, dangerous, and it's gonna usher the
Right.
turtles along.
The main piece of wood for the body is like 5 feet long. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically
Nasty.
Small.
It shoots javelins at people.
Yeah, well, I'll try to hurry them on.
Yeah. So when we get to where
Yes,
we're like
they're-
together, yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone we need to gather up. We need to get in a circle here. Gather the wagons. Circle up.
All right. Well, I do what he obviously knows better than me, so I try to direct them to do this.
Yeah, so I'm telling everyone to circle their wagons essentially, and get in the middle.
What can you see, Billy? I shout across.
I hop up onto the top one of the wagons and see if I can see through the trees at all.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, my headphones died and I had to switch the settings there. It was lagging. Okay, so, yes, if anyone said anything, I missed it in that time.
Okay, so basically we're just circling the wagons, and then Ebony was asking me if I saw anything, so I hopped up on top of the wagons to see if I could see anything through the trees.
You can see trees rustling in front of you and birds flying out of them, shooken out of their homes by something quite large, it would seem.
Okay.
The wagon of turtles pushes on through. It's going to try and push on through. I don't know if you guys want to follow it and defend it, or stay here and meet this thing.
How many wagons
and try
do
and
we
bide
have?
it some time.
Do the turtles just have one wagon?
Turtles just have one wagon.
Oh, okay. I thought we had several, so never mind. So, what are you fools doing?
We gotta stand and fight.
We've got to get out of here.
No, you
If
gotta
you want-
stand.
they pull on through. If I mean they're not stopping. You can try and maybe knock them down, but the turtles pulling the wagon.
We're gonna follow. I'll be like, well, follow those guys. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not leaving them.
We can't leave them.
Wait
to go
a
off.
minute. Wait a minute. So I run into you out here. You say follow you. Now you want me to turn around?
You could stay here if you want, son of Jim, but we're gonna stay together. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna die.
Now what the hell is going on? This is kind of weird. I think you're trying to set us up here, and I don't take too kindly to that. He says as he sort of fondles the ignition switch on his chainsaw arm.
Well, there's a creature out here that we've been told about. It's a big creature, and it's killed many of these turtle folk. Now, your choice is you can stay and face that creature by yourself, or you can come with us. Your choice. But I'm already going after the turtle folk. I'm not sticking around for these guys.
Ebony's
Yes,
probably gonna join Billy Buck and see if he's all right. See what's coming.
Ebony!
this way.
Ebony, Raptor,
Come on,
Raptor.
come on, man. Come on, family, let's go. This cyborg father continues to lead his family on the path the way that they were going. It's about that point that Billy, Buck, and Ebony, both from your elevated positions, you see what looks to be sort of a pale, almost sickly, gray something. You just see a flash of it, quite a large flash, but a flash nonetheless, of it through some trees in the distance, of this other trail, this third trail.
Can we get a sense of how big it is?
Oh, what it is?
You can't at this point. You're guessing that it's maybe at least twice as big as Ebony.
Dang. Okay.
You didn't see any hair on it. On the color, you didn't see any fur or any texture like that. You're not sure what it is yet.
All right. Ebony, let's do our raptor attack. I'm gonna flank on the left. You go flank on the right, and we'll meet up together.
Right on, Billy.
So he heads off to. He full out runs like along the path to kind of get to where he can flank it. He's guesstimating where it's going to intercept. He's trying to get ahead of that.
Sure. Well, you guys can just go there at the Y and come up from either side like you said.
Yeah.
And I assume Lou, you're keeping your distance a bit more and sticking to the rest of the group more, or.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Donovan, you stick back with Pretty Boy and protect these folks.
You look around and Donovan is gone.
Shit. Where that sumbitch got off to?
Plot twist, Donovan is the creature.
You hear this strange noise. It would almost sound comedic if it wasn't at such a harsh magnitude. You hear this a noise that almost sounds like a rodent of sorts.
What the hell is that?
So the two of you are standing there on either side, obviously not in the middle of the path as a target, or to spoil the element of surprise. So you won't really be able to see it until it's right there. But you can hear a scuffling as it comes through the jungle floor, headed your direction at no small speed indeed. As the turtle caravan tries to put distance, and this caravan, which is also not hauling ass quite as much, was going now. The father is at the back, of course, sort of watching, protecting over his family and his materials, as it were. And so he's sort of at the back, and he's backwards, sort of facing your guys' direction with his chainsaw arm out, not brandishing it, not threatening anyone, but just there, making sure that people know that it exists. And both of you can see him from where you are, and it's his reaction is to the creature is the thing that you see before the actual creature. He simply stops in his tracks. Go! Get out of here! He says, and is almost frozen, petrified, and before he begins to fumble for his thing to start up his chainsaw arm, as though it were a lawnmower of sorts. And as he's starting it up, it's starting and stopping. A giant, pale gray, hairless beast rushes past this path, this third path, towards this family and towards this fellow, who's who's trying to start up his weaponized arm, and it came by at such speed that the two of you probably only saw its face for but half a second, but it seemed to have it seems to be a furless mammal of some sort. Almost, it does seem to be almost like an overgrown rodent. It has a couple of teeth that, even proportionally for it, are fucking ridiculously large, almost like a beaver or the. What are they? The Nutra, I think they're called. They're a really gross rodent that is just disgusting and is destroying habitats in America. Anyway, this thing is just horrific, and the things that she told you about the size of its teeth and apparently the thickness of it doesn't seem like much of an exaggeration. It's pretty massive. It's probably about the size of an elephant and then half another elephant. Although, of course, it's hard to gauge. It's fairly close to the ground. It has short, sort of stocky, stubby legs. Its stomach doesn't really drag on the ground, but sort of. There's definitely not really any space between its stomach and the ground. And it has, a long, sick, sort of like, the tail looks as though sort of sick and diseased, almost like a possum's tail. As this hairless horror just descends on this man completely. The grating sound of its that it is making has completely outsnuffed the sound of him trying to start his chainsaw arm. So neither of you is sure whether or not he actually got it started. But yes, this thing is within a second and a half on top of this poor fellow as his son looks back and sees his father taken to the ground by this horrific abomination.
Okay, which one of us is closer? Or are we on both sides of it, I guess?
Yeah, about the same, more or less.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, more or less.
How close is it to us, would you say?
It is, at this point, about... From Billy, it's about 15 to 20 meters away. From Ebony, maybe like 20, 25, because she's on the other side.
Yeah, okay.
What about
So
Lou? How far from Lou?
Yes, it is. How far from Lou? It is probably it's a safe distance. I mean, as safe as you could want at this point. It's probably about 80 to 90 meters.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because those guys just kept going. They took off.
We're trucking.
So, okay, I'm going to try and get within 10 meters of it, and so that I can use my agony sphere against it.
Right. Any collateral damage, we'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah. I don't think this guy's going to survive, is what Billy's thinking right now, so...
It's probably going to affect the whole family, actually.
Didn't they... They went off. No, they moved off. He's like, get out of here, and they kept going, right?
Can't save them all, Billy Buck.
Yeah, well, they're not too far. We'll see. Do you know how far the agony sphere... I can look it up. I have the book right here.
It's 10 meters, I think. Yeah. That's why I want to get I want to get it just within my 10, what I guess to be 10 meters. Whether or not that actually is another thing.
Yeah, I don't think the family will be affected.
Just the guy. Yeah.
Yes. So, do you make a roll for that, or do you just activate it? How does it work?
I probably should go grab my book. Let me go.
Oh, I got it right here. I could look.
Sorry.
Yeah, no need to be sorry. Okay, it takes 3 full rounds to charge up and unleash,
okay.
And it does. Yes, the target will suffer D6 damage per round. So you can go ahead and roll a D6. And yeah, there's no roll for that other than damage. I guess you're only limited by the amount of times you can do it a day, and the fact that it can friendly fire. You can agony sphere your friends on accident.
So it takes a full 3 rounds again to use it again.
No, the one use of it takes 3 full rounds to use, and each of those rounds does a d6 of damage. So you're basically, it's like, you're Professor Xing him. You're standing there, focusing your mental power, and that takes you, 15, 20 seconds to do. But it doesn't take a while to get started. As soon as you do it, it begins to damage him.
Okay, so do you want me to roll now, or do I have to wait for 3 rounds?
Yeah, we'll roll 1 for now at least. Roll
Okay.
1d6.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, so this thing, again, I don't think that's not physical damage that you can see. Well, not immediately, but you feel yourself. You can describe it as you will. I don't know if you take a stance or how your character goes about it, but you focus your psionic energy, as it were, to literally mind fuck this thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Ebony?
I'm gonna.
And yeah, this thing has its back to you.
I'm
obviously.
gonna approach with my spear. I'm gonna, while its attention's distracted, I'm putting my crossbow behind, and I'm gonna approach with my spear. Because obviously I can't see what Billy's doing, which could end badly for me.
Totally. So roll another d6, Jason. So you use a turn to pull out your spear and hesitantly approach as you continue doing your psychic attack.
I rolled a 3.
A 3. Cool. Okay. And Ebony, and of course Lou. I assume you're not. I mean, you could fire an arrow back if you want, but I assume you're just sticking to the.
Well, my character turns around. I look back, and I plant my feet, ready to launch an arrow in that direction. However, seeing Ebony moving in, I'm worried at this distance that if I miss, I'm going to hit her in the back. So I guess I keep watching it, but I move with the turtles.
And it won't be too long because it is a jungle area. It won't be too long until you're out of sight from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't leaving you out or anything.
You're good.
I've
decided not. I turn around and move with the turtles, hoping for the best.
Right. That's what Lou would. Yeah. That's what Lou would do. Yeah, his mouth is more valuable than most people's lives, perhaps.
It's not
at any rate, so Ebony.
Yeah, I don't know how close am I to it.
So yes, Ebony, you can see that your friend hasn't broke his concentration yet. I don't know if you want to do anything or just wait until he has.
How close to the creature am I?
You are about, we'll say about 12 meters. That's as close as you can be without being affected by the agony sphere.
Okay, I will pause momentarily.
If you get less than 10 meters.
If I can see Billy Buck, I will pause.
Sure.
Just to see what he's doing.
Yes. You look over at him, and Billy Buck is just beginning to sort of relax his body and open his eyes. And he sort of had a neutral expression, an expression that wasn't like his at all, and almost like when people are dead, a completely relaxed expression, how people look different when they're dead. That's sort of the look he had on his face, but now he sort of comes back to his facial musculature begins to work, and he looks like Billy Buck again. Begins to open his eyes as he finishes his mental assault on this creature. But that has not gone unnoticed, for better or worse. It has been effective, and this creature turns around with great speed wheels around to face to lock eyes with Billy before assaulting him. So this all happens, of course, within a split second.
Yeah.
And as this creature comes around, it has blood dripping off of these two giant rodent fangs, each of which is probably about 4.5, 5 feet long. One's a little bit longer than the other. One's kind of broke off and jagged.
God, I hope that's not Reginald's dad.
So he whips up his shotgun and he's like, "You are one ugly motherfucker, ain't you?" And he
So roll
fires off
your
a
final
shot.
d6.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
He gets a 5 for his final one.
Okay, so 5. And Ebony, before you fire that shot, Ebony will get her move.
No, I
Yes.
didn't have my crossbow out. I had my spear out. I put my crossbow away
Correct.
as I approached.
Correct.
Ebony sort of figured out that she didn't want to try and risk hitting the people that was nearby. She wanted to try and skewer it and distract it, if possible. But then saw Billy Buck was doing something and was curious. Looked like he had a headache. So I waited. Obviously, I'm
So are you
glancing
gonna?
about
Are you
as well.
gonna?
Oh, attack! I can attack. Yeah. I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So you can narrate that as you will, and then make a roll for it.
Yeah. While this creature is like rearing up to attack Billy, I'm kind of raising the spear up above my head, being as quiet as I can. Sort of try to time my movements with the creature to sort of mask. Since Ebony's not an idiot and can sort of understand that if it's making a lot of noise as it moves, she can time her movements with it, and it's kind of doing that, and is going to stab it in the back as best she can.
Totally. So go ahead and roll for that.
That's a percentile roll, isn't it? Yep. My first roll of the day.
Yes.
So with the spear,
Yes.
I get a +4.
Subtract 20 from your strike value, and then you have to roll under that. That or under.
Right, I've got to roll under 34. I can do that. 20.
You can.
28.
Nice. That is under 34. That is an awesome mental picture, I just got to say. So this giant hairless rat or hairless mole, whatever it is, wheels around to face this hillbilly dilettante, as it were, with blood dripping off of its huge fangs, and Ebony just flies up in the air, and she already stands 10.5 feet tall, so when she jumps, it practically is flying. I mean, let's not split hairs here. Fly up in the air, bringing your spear down right upon its back.
I imagine as well that Billy Buck, even though he's holding the gun, acting all cocksure, I reckon at the back of his mind he's like, I hope Ebony's nearby. No,
that's exactly what he's thinking.
He's praying that she's nearby.
Okay, so you fly in the air and drive this spear hard through its body. You can feel that it's almost like rubber. Maybe your character would know what rubber is, but its skin feels almost like rubber. But sure enough, the sturdiness of your spear and the strength, and of course the weight of this huge bear woman, the 600 pounds, 700 pounds, is enough to drive it deep into this creature, and as you do, it lets out a horrific, jittering cry of pain and perhaps terror, perhaps fear, even as it cries out in pain. Its mouth opening up, first to bite, but then it's beginning in aggression but ending in pain. Its mouth is wide open right in front of Billy.
I'm going to stick my shotgun in its mouth and pull the trigger.
Sure. Well, I don't think you need to do an accuracy roll for a shotgun at point blank.
No.
What are you gonna roll? So just roll the damage for your gun.
Yeah.
Also, Evan, you roll the damage for your spear.
Okay.
It's like a tag team attack here.
16 damage from spear.
I'm not sure what a shotgun is. I have written D10, but that doesn't sound right for some reason.
Let me look. If I could find which page it's on. Wait, no.
I think it's 101 or 100 for weapons and armor.
Yeah, it's 100 is the page.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of shotgun he has. So.
Is it a pump shotgun?
Yeah, pump shotgun.
That's 3.
It's 3d10.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So I roll 3d10.
And you'll get a bonus because it's inside of its mouth, just like Ebony gets a bonus because she's massive when she does physical things.
Okay, so I roll 3d10.
As far as a
and
bonus
add
to
up.
your... Yeah.
Okay, so I got an 8, an 8, and a 7. Not bad. So that's 23.
23? Dang, you guys are wailing on this thing. Plus, the fact that it was in its mouth should, I think, do double damage, really. I mean, you're shooting a shotgun on its inside, so...
What kind of
Great.
blood does it have? That's just what I want to know. It doesn't have acidic.
It has a black. It has a black sort of blood that sort of oozes out more like pus rather than bleeds bleeds out. Very strange creature indeed.
Like a tar.
Yes. What is your defense value, Jason, Billy, whoever you are?
I have down negative 26, and I hope that's right. Does that sound right, or?
Yeah. Yes. That is right, because then that takes away from his strike value. So, give me a second here. Ooh, that wasn't too good. For someone. All right, so yes, this thing had to roll under 25, and it rolled a 9.
Oh dear.
So yes, so this thing well, it doesn't really cry out in pain anymore now that you've shotgunned it in the mouth. Its response after that seems to be just to eat you alive. It sort of rears on its back a bit and scoots forward and just sort of opens its mouth and really just lays on top of Billy with its mouth open, trying to swallow you or cut you in half. Probably first one and then the other. And indeed, it manages to, unfortunately, Jonah and the whale you, if you will. It wraps its massive, horrific rodent lips around you and bites into you hard with its teeth that perhaps weren't originally made for flesh, but certainly over the years have gotten used to it and have gotten sharper from chewing on bones.
Right.
And whatnot, what have you. This thing bites into you deeply, dealing you. Let me see.
I do have ballistic hide. I don't know if that helps at all.
Oh, no, not again.
Yes, that will help. I'm not sure how so, but it will. I think it just reduces the. Let me see here. Oh. Oh yeah, no, it actually, when you have ballistic hide, it does -4 to regular defense and -20 to ballistics and blunt trauma.
Oh.
So technically, he should have had to score a well, beneath 21, which he still did. But yes, definitely, that's something to keep in mind. So he dealt to you 11 plus 18 plus 5 damage, and your health is essentially your endurance. So take away 18, 11, and 5, whatever that is. I'm not good at math. That'd be what, 29 plus 5.
34.
34.
Okay.
Take 34 out of your endurance. Not permanently, but mark -30. And once your endurance is 0, you're not in a good way. And that's if you're lucky.
Doesn't get out of bed for less than the 24.
Okie doke.
And I don't know, and I'm not tracking character sheets here, so all I remember is Ebony's like 158 or something stupid because she's stupid. Other than that, I may accidentally kill off people without realizing it. So yeah, no metagaming here. So yes, Ebony, you witness this creature bring down its gaping maw right on top of the torso of poor Billy Buck. Seconds later, you hear another shotgun ring out from inside of it.
I'm guessing we're still surrounded by trees. Or in a clearing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This is my plan. When I see it like kind of clamping down to Ebony,
Not much of a clearing.
my plan is right to brace my foot against one of the tree trunks, and kind of like use my spear as a crank and just kind of turn it into a tree, like if I can. Slam it into a tree.
Yeah.
No one bites.
Like the rudder of a boat.
Yeah. Using the
Sure.
tree as a kind of like stabilizing so I don't fall over.
Sure. Yeah, make a percentile roll.
Do I need red anymore?
And this time, just subtract 10 from your strike value. This time.
Just it's my base strike value. This will be.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so it'll be 4. So it's Oh, I fail 47.
You rolled over.
Yeah, it'd been 40. My base strike value was 50.
All right. All right. So you go to try and get your leverage, but then this thing sort of worms and wiggles in a hard way, probably in response to the second shotgun blast that was let off inside of its inside.
Probably getting covered in tar as well, like all the.
Yeah, you unfortunately it sort of wiggles and. This sort of black pus.
All sorts of ichor flying out.
And this black. Yes, this black pus has begun to sort of seep into parts of your fur and your claws, and it's quite slippery, in fact. That combined with the fact that it jerks, sort of you lose your leverage and your footing, and in fact you fall down to the ground. Of course, you don't take any damage from it. You pick yourself up, lickety split. But indeed, you do fall off the back of this thing and have to pick yourself up.
Yeah, I'm shouting.
But as you do, you see a volley of arrows fly at this thing. 3 arrows, in fact, one right after another. But they all seemed to come from the same exact spot, somewhere sort of in the forest. So
Ebony just
roll for that really quick.
If they hit her, then she'll deal with that thing later, because right now she's busy. But if it hits the creature, it's all good as far as she's concerned.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a volley of arrows come in, and 2 of them sort of glance off this thing or do a bit of surface damage or just scrape scrape into its calloused skin. But one of the arrows manages to hit it dead on, and with enough force to be driven deep inside of the thing, sort of by its armpit, certainly in an area that wouldn't feel too good to get shot in. And by this point, this thing has a spear sticking out of its spine, an arrow in its armpit, and has taken 2 shotgun blasts to the mouth. It still hasn't really slowed down. It looks fairly strong still, but I don't care who you are. That it's not comfortable, and this thing is showing it. It seems to have decided to just make its way back to its home with its meal in its mouth, as it were. So
Oh, I don't think so.
so it starts to lumber, not pretty briskly, not as fast as it came, but it starts to lumber back down the path with Billy in its grass.
I want to try and
back to its.
I want to try and use my paralysis tendrils on it because they're on my chest, which are inside its mouth. But I've never used them.
If it passes out with you inside it, it's going to crush you.
Well, I'm pretty strong. I could probably like force my way out of it somehow at that point. But yeah, so I have 6 paralysis tendrils. I'm gonna try and shock it inside its mouth, but I don't know how they work.
Would you get a bonus because technically on its tongue?
Yes.
It's quite sensitive.
Right? It's like a trip to the dentist, man.
Yeah.
Paralysis tendrils. Oh, it adds +10 to your strike value when you use them. That's pretty cool. It does a D12 to stun, and yeah, we could say that that'll be especially the stun element of it would probably be pretty effective on an open wound in a mouth that just got hit up with a gun.
Yeah. So is that for each tendril? Because I have 6.
Yep. Well, each is capable of doing. That is ridiculous. Each is capable of doing a D12 of damage. You're Doc Ock. You can just kill everyone. That's ridiculous.
We'll come up with something. I mean, you can figure out a way to try and limit that so it's not overpowered. But I think the limiting factor is they're not very long. They're only like a meter long or something.
Yeah.
I think they're 3 meters, but still, yeah. You still have to get your hands dirty.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want me to roll for that now?
So sure. Yeah, you could roll for that and narrate it as well if you want.
So do I roll for strike value first?
Yeah, I'll roll for strike value.
Okay, so I have to get under my strike value. So you said it adds 10. So my strike value, my base is 50. So I have to get 60. Under 60, I think. This could not necessarily work. We'll see. And I got a 15.
6 of them, so.
I got a 15. Do I have to roll for each
one? All right. No, that's good enough. Just to expedite the process.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be
for now. I mean, you're in its mouth. Plus, you're in its mouth. I mean, anywhere you do it, it's probably not going to be good.
All right, so
yeah,
I'll
go ahead and roll
12
6 D12, I guess.
Sorry, I'll make this fast. 5. I need to write this down unless somebody else wants to.
No, I'm writing it. I'm writing it down. I got the results.
Okay, 5 was the first one. Then we got a 12. Booyah. Then we got a 2. 5. 11. 3. Well, that was kind of like weird. So 5, 12, 2, 5, 11, 3.
Alright. Okay, so this thing spits you up, covered in sort of this sickly dark green mucus. It spits up your, well, not that you're looking down or overtly concerned with the damage right now, but yes, Billy has bite marks on both his stomach and back from this thing trying to snap him in half, and it did do a fairly good. Well, I mean, you're not snapped in half, but it did do a fairly good job at it in the sense that you took quite a bit of damage.
Yeah,
So yes,
gassed.
this thing spits you up, and then to add insult to injury, it mobs over you, walking across you as it makes its way back to its home.
Ebony.
So you're like bouncing as it hits you, like coming up to hit it again.
Ebony is gonna, while this is happening, is gonna try and grab onto the spear and basically haul it backwards, like kind of drag the spear through its insides to use its motion
You
against
take
it.
15 and 11.
Me?
You take 26 more damage to your endurance, Billy.
Oh shit. He's
So-
-2 right now.
You're still alive then, I believe.
Woo!
I think you're just unconscious.
He's definitely hurting.
Yeah.
Billy!
Well, you better hope they don't fail their medical. You better hope they don't botch their medical roll.
I'm
So
hoping.
yes, needless to say, Billy fades to black as this creature sort of mobs over him violently. Really, just not trying to finish you off or anything, but just trying to get back to its home alive. Even though it's feeling quite lightheaded and out of its mind now that you've shot it up with some sort of drugs, so as to stun it. However, it unfortunately never makes it home. For Ebony lands on it once again, and yes, manages to drive the spear into it. Well, it doesn't die immediately, but the thing can pull on no farther. And Ebony probably stands there making sure that she finishes it off
Yes.
as its movements come to a close, just about 5 or 6 feet away from where Billy is lying
Every time it
unconscious.
twitches, it just stabs it again. Just keeps it. Obviously, I run over to Billy as well once I'm sure. Billy!
Did you
You
kill that motherfucker?
I did, Billy.
You
For America, just like
you
you said.
cut off you cut off his fucking head for me. You do it for me.
I haven't got time for that. Could get you back to the camp.
Nah, fuck the
Right
camp.
away.
I want that motherfucker on a pole. I'll make him pay. He's gonna pay. And he passes out.
Ebony sort of picks him up gently, not unkindly, and sort of makes sure he's all in one piece. He's not got any broken bones or anything, so far as she can tell. And he's gonna lumber back to camp.
Okay, as you turn around to leave, you see the cyborg man laying there unconscious with his chainsaw arm, and unfortunately his other arm was bitten off, and it is lying there on the ground as well.
Aw.
You can see that he's still breathing, he's still alive, but he's unconscious. His family's gone. Whether or not they know he's dead, you don't know, but they just got the hell out of there as shit was going down. So he's lying there.
Ebony looks at Billy Buck, looks at the thing on the floor, sighs slightly, and basically grabs this guy under the other arm and carries him as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will. So good enough for them. Whew, that was pretty intense. So meanwhile, yeah. Meanwhile, yes, it is the next day out on the dunes, out in the desert. and you guys are following this at not trying to go as fast as you can, but at a pretty good pace. You guys are being led by this caravan of sorts. And I don't know what all you guys are doing. I assume you're all at your. I don't know if anyone has anything specific they need to do. I assume you're all doing your respective jobs.
Peabody is going to be helping Charlene. Is that her name?
Yes.
Charlene. He's helping her cook, and he's in the back of the tank, whatever she's got set up, and he's cooking with her.
Reginald would be going over with Edward, trying to work out exactly what we need from Gearshift, and like trying to work out, okay, so supply-wise to get back, how much do we need, and what we need to bring back. Can we allocate enough room? That sort of stuff.
Yep.
Logistics, the excitement of logistics.
Sure.
Trying to get
Sure.
and also keeping an eye out.
Not Lou, but Edward. Edward's probably not questioning his decision necessarily, but hoping that his decision to work with these guys was a good one. And so you're all pondering these various things. It's about mid-morning the next day as you're coming to the dunes, and you can see that these men have stopped in front of you. They're all sort of standing there on a ridge of sorts, looking over. As the tank pulls up to this ridge, you can't really see what's at the bottom of it or on the other side until you're right up on it. But as you do, you can look down and see what looks to be just a minefield of barrels, canisters with biohazard symbols on them, and a sort of greenish, bluish sludge around some of them that are broken open.
This looks.
They're sitting there They're just sitting sort of in the middle of this part of the desert.
So did we stop, you said, next to him, or are we just...
Everyone's at a ridge looking over, sort of surveying the scene.
Okay. So we're not like right next to the barrels?
No. They're at the bottom of this. They're not far away from you, but they're not in your immediate area.
Okay. So Peabody, he's going around
away from you.
Peabody's got something in a pot, and he's taking it around to dish it out to people, and it looks like some kind of brown sludge with like iron filings in it, or something disgusting. And he's like, "This is my special chocolate mousse that I've been working on. I'm sure that you'll need some refreshment after a long day's travel."
Do you actually eat that? Is that consumable?
Everybody likes chocolate mousse. That's what the kids used to tell me back at the farm.
I kind of take one of the big slivers of metal, and I'm like, this doesn't look like chocolate to me.
That's shaved. That's the shaved chocolate to give it texture. Yes, texture.
There's a thin trail of blood on your thumb that you accidentally cut from there as he says texture.
Full of vitamins and nutrition. Now you look very hungry, and you should eat up.
I kind of put it back down. And I said, maybe another time.
He keeps spooning it onto your plate.
Well, I'm getting out of the tank, and I'm going to go talk to the leader of the band of the other guys. Excuse me,
Sure.
sir. What is
Yeah.
this place? What is this place?
This is a field of radiation. This is the reason I didn't want to go the quick way, but your cyborg insisted on it, so here we are. Hope you don't mind a dose of some chemical X. Sugar,
Yeah,
spice, and everything nice.
Going in there is a bad idea, Edward. Very bad idea.
Hey,
Did
look on
someone
the
say
bright side.
spices?
Anyone that wanted to have some mutations but never did, now's your chance.
Is there a reason that you just took us here and didn't tell us why the short route wasn't going to work? Could have told us this. I mean, I was assuming it was some sort of rough terrain or something, but...
Yeah, it is rough terrain. You hit the nail on the head right there, buddy.
Okay, well, obviously I'm not going to drive our tank through this. Is there another way around you can take
Wait
us?
a minute. Hang on a second. First you refuse to go the way that me, the guy, your man, the guy who's lived his whole life out here, wanted to go. But no, you knew better. Now that I go your way, you want me to go backwards, take 2 more days to the original journey. What? And you're probably going to be a tightwad with your supplies too, I'm guessing, huh?
Oh, come on. You were planning on going through this radiation? Don't tell me you were planning on doing that.
I wasn't. I was planning on going the other way, but your cyborg wanted to go the most direct route. He demanded of it. When you give a service to people, you give them what they ask for. Now, if you have the supplies to warrant going back and backtracking, then so be it. But, I'm not a fucking tour guide here. I do have some things I need to get to.
Can we see any creatures or anything in there?
No. Well, there do appear to be some sort of a flying insect buzzing about some of the barrels.
Some massive dragonflies. Like swarms of these massive dragonflies.
I mean, I might be okay if we go through there, but I don't think you two will. Definitely
Edward
not
is just
Charlie.
glaring at
So
me.
Peabody shambles up and he's like, "Oh yes, the field of radiation. I used to spend many days here picking poppies. It's my favorite." This man clearly knows what
and
he's
we'll
doing.
We'll stop. We'll stop there. He's doing what you told him to do, man. So we will stop the session there at the field of radiation.
Nice day out.
Thanks for
Nice
playing,
day
you
out,
guys,
people.
and thanks to everyone for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it.